Chapter 3, Fat Cakes. Nacho flapped down from the fence onto Lottie's shoulder and gave a loud squawk. Precious slinked away. If she leaned over any further, she would have fallen off, Noah said. I don't think she could have reached the nest from the top of the fence. No, but all the commotion has disturbed the birds, Lottie sighed. Let's go inside, we can watch them from the kitchen window. Any chance of a snack? Asked Noah hopefully. Einstein greeted them eagerly. Woof! Nacho perched on the back of a kitchen chair. They'd both like a snack too, giggled Lottie. Peanut butter sandwiches, okay? She slathered some on a slice of bread for Noah. Yum, Noah mumbled, taking a big bite. Lottie held up the jar and read the label. Nacho bobbed his head up and down excitedly, and Einstein began to drool. It's made from 100% organic peanuts, Lottie announced, so pets can have a little bit for a treat. And she plopped a teaspoonful into Einstein's bowl. He sucked it up, then licked his lips frantically. It stuck to the roof of my mouth too, Noah laughed. Lottie got down the tub of parrot food and tipped a little of the seedy mixture onto a saucer. She added a tiny bit of peanut butter and mashed it up and held it out for Nacho. He nibbled at it enthusiastically. Maybe the birds in your garden would like some of that too, suggested Noah, or some crusts of bread. It's only September. Samiri says wild birds don't need extra food putting out until it gets cold, Lottie told him. And she said bread doesn't have much nutrition in it. It can also be dangerous for birds to eat if it goes mouldy. But in the winter, it really helps birds if you give them fat cakes. Lottie thought for a moment. We've got Nacho's parrot seed, so we can make a couple now and put them in the freezer. She finished her snack, then opened the fridge door. Samira said to use lard, but there's only a block of margarine. I'll pop and get some lard from the shop. Back in a minute. Lottie came back with a block of lard. Must be handy to have your mum run a shop at the front of your house. Noah laughed. It is, said Lottie, but it means mum is always busy. She handed the large lard to Noah and rummaged in a cupboard for a bowl. Cut the block in half and put it in this bowl, she said. Aye, aye, Captain, Noah joked. Lottie rolled her eyes at him. I'm practicing obeying orders from the captain of the spaceship for when I'm on the way to Mars, Noah grinned. Lottie turned on the hot tap and ran hot water into the sink. Noah flapped onto the windowsill, put his head to one side and made a whooshy noise. Whoosh, whoosh. That's a brilliant noise. He sounds exactly like a flushing toilet, Noah laughed. Lottie giggled. He does, and he can carry on like that for ages. Birds are amazing, aren't they? Lottie raised her voice above the noisy parrot. Now, stand the bowl in the hot water until the lard melts, she told Noah. Nacho continued making the toilet noise as Lottie removed the bowl with the melted fat from the water and got out a wooden spoon. Nacho tilted his head to one side and stared as Lottie slowly trickled a cup of his parrot seed into the melted fat while Noah stirred. Now we need to put it in something to set. Lottie rummaged through the recycling bin and took out a couple of small yoghurt pots. These are perfect, she said, spooning in the mixture and pressing it down into the pots. Once the mixture has cooled in the fridge, we'll stick a skewer through them to make a hole, and then we'll freeze them in the pots. Why the hole? Asked Noah. You have to cut off the yoghurt pot before giving it to the birds, Lottie explained, and the holes is so you could thread a string tied to a little stick through it and hang it up. It's clever, commented Noah. It gives the birds something to perch on while they eat. That's right, said Lottie. Samira says birds find it hard to get enough food in the cold months. If I make more fat cakes in advance and put them out regularly, it'll help the garden birds get through the winter. Preparations are important, agreed Noah. When we live on Mars, we'll need to be able to get through until the next supply ship comes. That means we will need to avoid eating everything at once, like Nacho's trying to do now. He grinned at Lottie's parrot, who's buried his beak in a yoghurt pot. Nacho, Lottie said, I know you need extra nutrition while you're molting, but that's not for you. And Lottie gently pushed him away. Nacho shuffled his feathers and resumed his swishing noise, just as Mum stepped through the kitchen door. There's that noise again, Mrs. Boffin groaned. I really need to call the plumber. There must be something wrong with the downstairs loo. She patted her pockets. Bother! I left my phone in the shop, and she turned on her heels and went out. Mum, there's nothing wrong, Lottie called after her. It's only Nacho, acting strangely because he's molting. I'm not sure your mum heard you, Noah told Lottie. Lottie was about to go after her and explain when Noah pointed to something outside the kitchen window. Look! Now Precious is trying to climb up the ivy. Lottie glanced out of the window. The ivy was bending beneath Precious's weight as she scrambled upwards. Oh no! She'll destroy the nest! Lottie rushed outside.